Hey y'all, it's Nat. I'm back with another video. So today I am going to do a continuation of a series that I did probably maybe a year or two ago. It's called the Horrible Roommate series. Please go back and look at the video so you can see the experiences I had. So I had this lady that did my hair. I'm just gonna call her D. She did my braids a lot, and most of the time that's what I wear. So she told me about this lady that she knew that was renting rooms. So she gave me her information. I gave her a call. Me and the lady talked. I am going to name the rent, I guess you could say landlord or whatever. But I believe she was renting a house and just renting out rooms. So I'm going to call her crazy because that is what she was. So at first, I didn't go look at the house because I was really trying to get my own place, but I had a car, no car insurance. You know, I really didn't believe that I could find a place that I could afford on my own. And then Raj, the guy that I was dating, he wanted me to move in with him, thought about it, but then I started talking to somebody else. That's another story. So I didn't go look at the house because, like I said, I was looking for my own place and I was thinking about moving in with Raj. So when I decided that I was going to, see what she was talking about the room, me and her set up a day and time for me to come see the place. And, so I go see the place. The neighborhood is beautiful. I've never lived in this area. Very, very nice area. And the house was nice. She had a pool, a jacuzzi inside the pool. Really, really nice, spacious backyard. It was a beautiful house. It really was. And she kept it nice and clean and everything, which is definitely a plus. So, and she didn't have any other roommates at the time. So she had two rooms. One was more than the other. I was going to take the smaller room, which I think she was charging $450, I think. I can't really remember. I was going to take that room, the smaller room, but she wanted me to take the bigger room. So I was also working from home also. So the bigger room was the best. It had I don't know, 70-inch, 75-inch TV, something like that, which I already had my big screen, but it was in storage. So the room was really nice. So I ended up taking the more expensive room, but I think she still charged me the $450 for the larger room, which was cool. And we talked. She seemed nice. Seemed like she was a spiritual person. Anyway, so, everything was going well. So I moved in. I couldn't move in much because there was already a bed, dresser, TV, a desk, all of that was in the room. So mainly I bought like my fan and clothes, towels, things of that nature. Nothing really major or heavy. So yeah, we were getting along, so I thought. And it was a good situation. I didn't know if she was going to rent the other room out or not, but I was hoping she wouldn't. And before I can even get to that, I took a trip to Detroit to visit my family, and I was on my way back, got on the plane, and I was rushing because my mama, she was making me late with catching a plane and being on time, so I was rushing. So I had my wallet in my hand, and instead of putting it in my jacket pocket or putting it in my duffel bag, I have it in my hand. So I dropped my wallet on the plane, not knowing. I didn't know that I actually dropped my wallet, because it was kind of in my head that I may have dropped it, but you know, I really didn't have time because I was late getting on the plane, so you know, they were ready to prepare us to take off. So I really didn't have time to check. I really wish I would have, but it probably wouldn't made a difference because someone did pick up my wallet, and they probably wouldn't have given it back because I didn't know who took it and where I dropped it. I know it was at the front of the plane. So once we landed in Vegas and I got off the plane, I'm looking for my wallet. Cannot find my wallet. I'm like, oh my God. And then I started getting notifications that people were charging my debit cards. And I had 2 banks at the time, I believe. Anyway, they took all my money. Point blank, period. They took all my money. So it was gonna be, I think, like the next week, or I can't remember when I came back in town, but rent was going to be due soon. I believe it was that following week. So I had to tell her, and it was just so messed up because that was, you know, my first month of rent after I moved in. So, you know, I didn't want to tell her. Well, I did, I think they replaced, I had got the money, or maybe my, you know, my check came and I was able to give her the rent, but I didn't have a debit card because I had to cancel my debit card. So she's wondering why I can't just go to the bank and get the money. I can't go to the bank and get the money because it's Chime. There is no physical bank. I tried to explain that to her, but I don't think she was really getting it, or she thought I was lying. I'm not sure, but that's what it was. So what I end up doing, this girl that I used to work with, you know, we were kind of cool. We were cool. So I had to trust her with my money. I knew she had Chime, so I could send the money to her, but the only thing was she was out of town. So I couldn't meet with her or have her bring me the money. I couldn't do none of that because she was out of town. I believe she was in California or Arizona. It was one of those, where she was at. So, you know, I had to trust her to send my money to her. And then after sending my money to her, I had to send the money to another friend. I'm just going to call her Jay. I had to send, she had to send the money to Jay because Jay was in town. And Jay was getting a tattoo, so she was in the area, and she told me that she would bring me the money. So that's what Jay did, because I was asking the lady that I was renting from, you know, could she wait another week? I'll have my card and I could get the money off myself. But she was talking about late fees and this and that. I was like, and that's why I resorted That's why I resorted to send the money to a friend, to another friend, so I can get the money. So Jay brought me the money after she got her tattoo. So I gave her the money, and that was squared away. I wouldn't say that was a big issue, but I don't know. For me, it wasn't. For her, maybe so. I don't know. So, that happened. And then, I overheard her talking about me. Yeah. But before I get to that, there was another roommate that moved in. So that roommate was transgender. It was a female to a male. And at first, I didn't talk to him that much, but then we started talking. We were all right. I only had like one issue, because like I said, I was working from home, and then so for some reason, maybe he was off. I don't remember the situation, but he was playing the saxophone, and at the time, the lady that was renting, Crazy wasn't home. So I texted her and was like, I'm working, and I'm just going to say the roommate. The roommate is playing his saxophone, and, I can hear him, and it's distracting me. So she contacted him and let him know that, I'm working, so, can you stop playing? So, me and the roommate had started going on walks. I had made mac and cheese. Crazy, she asked me to make macaroni and cheese for her church. And so I also, I just made it for her church. So I made the macaroni. I didn't like the shell she bought, but I wasn't eating it. It was for her church. So I made the mac and cheese for her church. And then I made mac and cheese. So, she wanted some. I had made enough where it was too much for just me, myself. So I offered to give her some, and I offered to give the roommate some. So what had happened was the roommate ate hers, because I gave her the bigger portion and I gave him a smaller portion. And yeah, he ended up eating hers. So yeah. And then, so a little while later, so that roommate was there maybe like 2 months, and then that roommate moved out. I'm not sure why. I know she thought that he was smoking drugs in that room. I did smell something funny, and by me not doing drugs, but it was a strange smell, and I thought maybe he could have been doing drugs in the room. Not sure, but I do believe he was a recovering addict, so that could have been a possibility. And so which I found out this is a pattern with her. She said that he had scraped the refrigerator, and yeah, I found out that that's a pattern with her. When people move out, she's saying they damaged this, they stole this. She was a mess. But the time that I found out that she was talking about me.
Gotcha.
So she had company. I believe it was like her aunt or someone. And it wasn't time for me to start work yet because I didn't start work until I think like 10:30 in the morning or something. So I would get up probably like at 10 or something. So I'm hearing her talking. The door is closed. My door is closed. When I'm in there, my door is mostly closed. And of course she knew I was there. So I hear her talking about me. And to me, as a grown woman, if you have a problem with another grown woman that you live in the same house, you should discuss that with that grown woman first before talking to somebody else about it. To me, that's immature. You too old for that. She was 50-something years old. Like, come on now. So it was just crazy. So I never did, confront her about it. I just knew at that time she was not trustworthy. She was fake. And I don't think I'm going to be here too long. So this is the end of the story. I'm going to wrap it up. This is only part 1. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting. I thank you so much. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share the video. You have a great rest of your day.